Hello everyone, we meet again. The Mobile Legends team is unleashing a hero on the battlefield this week. The ultimate sniper, Leslie.
Sniper ready. Give me a target.
Leslie is an excellent sniper who can use her long-range sniper rifle and stealth skills to help her team gain a huge advantage in early stages of the game. She can use her stealthy camouflage to get the jump on unsuspecting enemies, her sniper rifle to rack up damage, and then finally let rip her super long-range ultimate to finish them off. This elusive marksman is set to bring an all-new gaming experience in the Land of Dawn. Lethal shot.
Shoot.
If Leslie doesn't take damage for a certain period of time, the range and damage of her basic attack will be increased. Using skills immediately resets this passive. Try your best to avoid taking damage and use her extreme long-range attacks to wear down enemies. First skill, Leslie enters the camouflage state, gaining increased movement speed. Dealing or receiving damage will break the stealth effect, and when the stealth breaks, she'll receive a damage boost. Enemies can detect Leslie's camouflage through distortions in their surroundings. Combine stealth with her passives, increased crit damage to launch a devastating opening on your enemies. Second skill, Leslie throws a tactical grenade forwards that explodes in a fan-shaped area, knocking enemies back. At the same time, Leslie jumps back slightly. This skill should be used to increase your survivability. Try saving it for when you need to escape. Third skill, Leslie abandons her senses and captures all enemy movement in an area using her mind. She can then fire deadly bullets at her target, which can be blocked by other enemy heroes. Use this skill to finish off enemies with low HP and be sure to keep a safe distance. If an enemy approaches while you're in the process of aiming, you can use Leslie's second skill to escape and fire off a deadly bullet, meaning you can protect yourself and kill enemies at the same time.
To bring you a new hero this week. It's the Steel Sweetheart Jawhead. Jawhead is a genetically engineered robot developed by Mr. and Mrs. Hendry, parents of little Ailey. He has powerful arms that can throw anyone far into the distance and is equipped with the state-of-the-art missiles that will automatically attack nearby targets consistently, making him a nightmare to take on 1 versus 1. All in all, Jawhead is a sustained damage solo fighter who can use enemy units as weapons by throwing them. Passive. Each time you deal damage to a target, you inflict it with a stack of Compilation, which can stack up to 10 times. Each stack increases Jawhead's damage dealt to the target by 8%. Jawhead's passive is what makes him a good solo fighter, as his passive can lead to very high damage when the stacks build up and you can unleash his first skill. First skill, places body-mounted missiles into launch states for a while, randomly launching multiple attacks on surrounding targets. Each missile deals physical damage. This is Jawhead's core damage skill. If all missiles hit a single target, it can cause tons of damage. Pay attention to the battlefield's environment when using this skill, as it can deal damage beyond your imagination when pursuing a single enemy. Second skill, tap to enter the throwing state, increase movement speed and grant a damage absorbing shield, then tap it again to throw a nearby target to a specific location. Throwing an enemy deals physical damage and stuns the target and enemies where the target lands. Jawhead's throw prioritizes heroes, and teammates can also be thrown, but they will not take damage. This skill can generate a lot of interesting opportunities, allowing you to throw an enemy to your team for them to swiftly annihilate. Or you can try throwing a Kai into an enemy formation. We are sure you will find a million of ways to utilize this unique skill. Ultimate locks onto an enemy hero and charges into them, stunning them briefly while knocking back nearby enemies. Jawhead's ultimate deals physical damage to all affected enemy targets. This ultimate is good in both one-on-one and team fights. With the second skill, acceleration and throwing effect, your target will simply be unable to escape after using your ultimate. In solo situations, this ultimate can help you to easily maximize your first.
Legends team is back with a new hero this week. Everyone's favorite bunny love, Angela. Angela was developed by the brilliant Dr. Baker as Peace Android Prototype 1, with the aim of spreading love throughout the world, and is the first artificial autonomous being to have been developed without the use of a human body or soul. Her curative energy heals her allies while dealing damage to her enemies, and she can also protect her allies from anywhere on the battlefield. All in all, this cute android makes for an awesome support hero. Passive skill. Each time Angela uses a skill, her movement speed increases for a few seconds. This acceleration effect will also be applied to her attached ally. First skill. Launches love energy in the designated direction, dealing damage to enemies while healing allies. In addition, this skill also adds a stack of Lover's Mark to the enemy, increasing Angela's skill damage against the marked target. Try to keep this effect on your enemies, and in late game team fights you can heal your allies while dealing great damage to your foes. Second skill, launching a puppet string at a specified target, inflicting them with a gradually increasing slow effect. If the target is still connected to the string after a certain period of time, they will be immobilized and take damage. The damage of this skill is greatly enhanced by Lover's Mark, and when combined with enough Lover's Mark stacks, the damage dealt when immobilizing the enemy is comparable to that of a mage. Ultimate. Angela gathers energy to generate a damage-absorbing shield for a friendly target. Shortly after this, she will become attached to that friendly target. While attached, she can use all of her skills without consuming mana and is instantly granted 3 charges of love waves. Angela cannot be damaged or controlled when attached, so feel free to jump into battle and unleash your skills to help your team win. By the way, this skill can target allies from anywhere on the map and works via an all-new hero avatar selection method. If you use this skill again, or if the friendly target dies, Angela will detach.
Mobile Legends team will be introducing a new hero to the battlefield. He's the son of Flames, Valier. Valier was Gord's apprentice, who fused flame magic from his homeland with arcane spells learned from his master to form a unique type of arcane flame magic. He can launch a wide range of attacks on his enemies from great distances. And what's even more terrifying than that? After activating arcane flame, he can repeatedly release skills without a cooldown. In summary, Valier is one of the most awesome super damage team fighting mages who can refresh his skills cooldowns. Now his passive condenses arcane flame over 20 seconds, after which your burst fire or searing torment will have no cooldown. At level 7 and 13, arcane flame's cooldown is reduced to 16 and 12 seconds respectively. This is Valier's core skill. When your passive is on cooldown, try using burst fire to chase down enemies with your teammates. If you'd rather play it safe, you can also try using Searing Torrent, continuously interrupting enemy skills. If your passive is cooling down, when a team fight breaks out, more often than not, you can simply throw out a Burst Fire or Searing Torrent and deal very high damage within a short period of time. His first skill is Detonates Raging Flames, dealing damage to enemies in the specified location and reducing their movement by 80% for 1.5 seconds. The very short animation before casting means that the skill can hit its target almost 100% of the time. Combined with Arcane Flame, this skill is great for melting down the enemy's HP, and when used with Hellfire, it can greatly increase Hellfire's hit rate. His second skill unleashes a torrent of flames forward, knocking enemies back and dealing magic damage. Targets at the end of the torrent's range will take additional damage. With a large damage range and knockback effect, this skill can easily interrupt a vast majority of hero skill casts in the game. If you can judge your cast to hit targets with the end of your torrent, you can rack up very high damage. Which brings us to his ultimate, Hellfire. Summons the Hellfire at a specified location, spewing random flames continuously in the area. Each hit deals magic damage to targets and knocks them up briefly. Each target hit can only be knocked up once, The extremely large damage range makes this skill invaluable in teamfights. When used with Burst Fire and Arcane Flame's double slowing effect, Hellfire stands a higher chance of hitting targets and dealing devastating amounts of damage.
Hey there, it's us again. The Mobile Legends team is back to bring you another new hero this week, the Holy Blade Gusion.
The perfect combination of might and magic.
Gusion was born into a powerful family of mages, but from a young age he became fascinated with imbuing weapons with magical energy and using magic to unlock his own physical potential. He can control multiple sharp daggers at once to attack his enemies, and all who fall prey to his blades have little chance of escaping. What's even more frightening is when he uses magic to heighten his own ability, enabling him to control even more daggers and rendering his enemies utterly helpless. With the ability to refresh his skill cooldowns and chase down any enemy, Gusion is one burst damage magical assassin that you don't want to mess with. First skill. Throws a dagger into a specific direction, dealing magical damage to the first target hit. Use this skill again to appear behind the target and deal magical damage with the follow-up attack. This is a strong chase skill as it has a very long range, and Gusion just needs to land it in order to appear directly behind his target. The enemy simply won't be able to escape his breathless pursuit. Second skill. Throws 5 daggers forward, each dealing magical damage and slowing enemies hit. After a short while, you can tap this skill again to recover your daggers, each causing magical damage to enemies hit as they return. This powerful damage skill, as both throwing and recalling daggers, will deal damage. You can combine these skills with Sword Spike to ensure that all your daggers hit the target and deal devastating damage. Ultimate dashes to designated location, immediately refreshing Sword Spike and Shadow Blade Slaughter cooldowns. This skill can be used again after a brief pause to dash a short distance in a specified direction. After being reset, Gusion will be able to immediately throw 5 daggers with Shadow Blade Slaughter and recover 10. The ability to reset his cooldowns allow Gusion to launch 2 waves of deadly attacks, and this ultimate has the bonus effect of granting Shadow Blade Slaughters extra daggers when recovering the 5 you threw out. At the same time, this ultimate grants 2 dashes which can be used in a variety of ways, such as for attacking or escaping. Combined with Sword Spike and Shadow Blade Slaughter, his ultimate allows Gusion to perform various combos that leave his enemies dazed and confused. Passive skill. Each spell cast adds rune to Gusion's dagger. After stacking 3 runes, the next basic attack will deal additional damage equal to 15% of target's missing HP, and restores HP equal to 80% of the damage dealt. As this passive effect is based on the target's missing HP, it is best to use it as a killing blow. When you and the enemy are both low on HP, seeing your basic attack deals so much extra damage while healing, you will plunge them.
I'm proud to present this week's new hero, the Ashura King, Martis. Martis is the strongest of all the Ashura. Wielding the Ashura's teeth, he can perform perfectly executed blade attacks that wreak absolute havoc on his opponents. And if that's not scary enough, when he utilizes his ultimate's execution effect, he can reap squishy heroes when they're on low HP. Now let's have a look at his passive. Each time Martis uses his skill, the power of the Ashura's teeth will increase his attack speed. Try to keep this passive up as much as possible to supplement damage when your skills are cooling down. Which brings us to his first skill. Martis focuses the power of the Ashura's teeth, drawing in enemies in a fan-shaped area in front of him and dealing physical damage to them. This skill gathers as many enemies as possible within range, functioning as a small-scale group control effect that has a huge impact on the flow of battle. There exists nothing between the heavens and the earth, nor the 3,000 worlds that can resist the might of the Ashura. Martis harnesses the might of the Ashura's teeth, blade of the underworld, to rain down unearthly judgment on his enemies, dealing physical damage. Marta's direction can be changed midway through this attack. This skill can be used again within a short window of time to charge forward, knocking up and dealing physical damage to enemies. This is an offensive and defensive soul skill. During the first part, you can move the analog stick to change direction, and the second part is perfect for chasing down enemy heroes. Proper use of this skill will leave enemies totally suppressed by your twin blades. Which brings us to his ultimate. All that lives must die. The only truth lies in emptiness. In the final secret world, only one true Ashura king shall emerge triumphant. Martis charges to a designated enemy hero, dealing physical damage. If the target has low health, this skill will deal true damage. Killing a target, however, with this skill will immediately reset its cooldown and increase your movement speed. Also, the execution mechanism combined with the acceleration effect can allow Martis to pick up to 5 kills when facing a team of low HP heroes.
There everyone, the Mobile Legends team is back with another new hero this week, the Scarlet Flower Hanabi. Hanabi is a highly skilled ninja who can inflict massive projectile damage to multiple enemies simultaneously while restoring a huge amount of health at the same time. She can also unleash the sealed power of the Higanbana to immobilize groups of enemies. In short, Hanabi is a team-fighting marksman capable of dealing sustained damage to all who stand in her way. Passive skill, Ninjutsu Equinox, the Scarlet Shadow secret technique. When Hanabi has full HP, health that would have been granted from lifesteal is converted into a shield. When this shield is active, Hanabi is immune to all control effects. Using the control immunity effect of Hanabi's shield can help her escape the clutches of many enemies and their control effects, making up for her lack of movement displacement skills. First skill, Ninjutsu Petal Barrage. Hanabi consumes mana to unleash the flower demon sealed within the Higanbana, firing petal blades at her enemies. After each basic attack hits, a new blade will spawn and deal physical damage to the enemy. Consecutive hits deal less damage. Passive. This skill grants Hanabi a certain amount of lifesteal which increases each time Petal Barrage is upgraded. This is Hanabi's core skill, providing both high lifesteal and the ability to deal high damage in team fights. Second skill, Ninjutsu Soul Scroll. Fires a kunai in the specified direction attached with a scroll sealed by demonic flower energy. Deals physical damage to enemies it hits along the way and slows them. Hanabi will recover mana for each enemy hero hit. This mana regeneration effect will decay when hitting multiple heroes. As toggling Ninjutsu Petal Barrage on will cause each basic attack to consume mana, Hanabi must try to hit as many heroes as possible with Soul Scroll in order to ensure her sustainability while slowing enemies to limit their positioning. Ultimate, Forbidden Jutsu Higanbana. When the flowers blossom, the leaves are forgotten. Hanabi completely unlocks the Higanbana seal and launches it at the enemy. After hitting an enemy, the Higanbana blooms, dealing physical damage and immobilizing them, and then spreads to nearby enemies. After a certain period of time, if the enemy is still within range of the Higanbana, a new flower will appear, causing the same damage and immobilization effect. The spreading effect only works once per hero, but it still makes this skill critical in team fights. After immobilizing multiple enemies, Hanabi's basic attack projectiles can deal huge damage to the enemy team.